Hello, beautiful Milfs, and welcome back to another episode of the Milfs Who Pivot podcast, where the term MILF is short for Money Making Independent Lady Friends. I'm your host, Bianca Terry, and each week I'll either be interviewing or reading about amazing women who have pivoted in life to pursue their wildest dreams and wealth from a MILF's perspective. This podcast aims to motivate and encourage other MILFs to boldly explore uncharted paths towards a fresh and fabulous leveled up life. Hello, everyone. In the guest chair today with me, I have Amy Taylor. Amy is an international model who has graced the covers of many high-profile magazines, including Playboy, FHM, Muscle and Fitness, Maxim, Elle, L'Officiel, hope I'm saying that right, and many others. Amy has also been featured in and or written for GQ, Sports Illustrated, Women's Fitness, and Men's Health, to name a few. She graduated from UC Berkeley with a degree in molecular biology and worked as a scientist in biotechnology before completing her Master of Business Administration. Amy is also a member of Mensa International, which is the organization open to people who score at the 98th percentile or higher on an IQ test, which is fabulous. Amy is also an active commercially licensed pilot. She's flown cargo and charter and has been a flight instructor. Today, Amy is passionate about breaking stereotypes related to what it means to be a model and is a dedicated advocate of gray modeling. So, Amy, let's start there. What exactly is gray modeling? Is that a thing? I've never heard the term outside of science. I know it's some type of scientific term, but gray modeling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's the nicest term, but it just means older models. And the gray implies the hair, which is, we can color our hair any color. I've had blonde, pink. I mean, but yeah, gray just implies old. And there, as the definition of what it means to be a model, not just in editorial and high fashion, but in other stuff changes. There's a wider spectrum available of how we define beauty. It can be older. It can be different shapes, sizes, races. Everyone has a streaming platform. Everyone has a voice. The internet has allowed that. And companies and brands have found out that you wouldn't be stupid to target older people. They got all the cash. With a beautiful, age-appropriate person.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, you can basically be older in modeling now than you used to be able to be, which is cool.
Exactly. And why shouldn't we be? Why shouldn't there be models of any age? So
I have
felt like that.
I mean, I have so many strong thoughts about the rigidity of society. I've debated and talked to people who are only comfortable if things are very rigid. One thing is good, everything else is bad. Yeah. This is sort of extremist, and I have to think those people are afraid of diversity, and they're like worried they're going to lose control if everything's. But as you told the fans, my undergraduate degree is in biology. I don't do that anymore, but Mother Nature likes diversity. She's a dice rolling gambler at a casino who loves probability.
Right. So then that brings me to my next question. Your previous life before modeling, what were you doing before you began pivoting midlife?
Yeah, well, so I've pivoted a lot, not just because of this particular what your show is about, being a MILF. I'm not a mother, but I'm in the MILF category. Next life, I'll become a mother.
But you know what? My version of MILF is not only about moms. It's just money making independent lady friends. That was the only thing I could kind of come up with to draw in everyone.
I saw that. I was like, I don't know, masterful. Independent, lively, and free.
That's cute. I like that.
That's all I got right now. But no, so I've pivoted many times, not just because of age, which is the current pivot. I'm 47. I can't wait for my 50s. Life is great. I didn't really like being young. I liked how easy it was to get less sleep and exercise less. I did like that. But everything else I like better now. But I've pivoted many times. I started modeling at 14, got scouted in a mall like a lot of people. The guy turned out to be a real modeling agent, photographer, not a creep. I guess I got lucky. My parents were very careful that I wasn't preyed upon, and I started that part time during high school, and then I went to college at Cal, and there wasn't too much modeling in the Bay Area. Did a little, but pretty much shelved it for 4 to 6 years, mostly.
Okay.
Um, I did a pageant as a teenager. That was weird but fun and helped pay for college.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then in college, I didn't do much. But then when I went to so I was a mediocre scientist at best, and I didn't like it. So I pivoted, got an MBA because an undergraduate ticket in biology, you're only qualified to be a scientist. And it turned out I didn't love it.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps would have been better to find that out sooner, that studying something is not the same as doing it for a living.
Yeah.
But hey, pivoted, did my MBA, and I did that in Los Angeles. So that was where, there was so much opportunity for modeling because everyone in LA's got a headshot, no matter what else they're doing.
Are you originally from LA?
No, I was born in Pennsylvania. My father taught at Penn State.
Okay.
But we left when I was, about 5 or 6. I'd have to ask my parents.
Oh, wow.
He took a job in Northern California in the Bay Area,
Okay.
near San Francisco.
Okay. So Cali girl.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much from age 6 to a year and a half ago when I moved to New York.
Mm.
So I pivoted to the MBA, worked in oil, modeled, dated a couple rich guys, all the LA lifestyle.
Hey, don't just glaze over that worked in oil. I want to know more about that. That's pretty fascinating. Your entire
Yeah.
bio is fascinating.
Well,
Tell me
so I
about that.
parlayed my undergraduate. I had some coursework in marine biology,
Okay.
even though it
I
was
love that.
molecular, and a couple math courses in modeling systems, a sort of matrix algebra type of stuff where you model ocean systems,
Mm-hmm.
multivariate out high level math.
Yep.
So I parlayed that, a bit of oceanography, a bit of math, plus my MBA, and I got a job in the offshore drilling department for a small oil company that we ended up taking public.
Ah,
Um,
okay. Very interesting.
so that was what I did after my MBA. All the while still modeling, did Playboy, did FHM, did Maxim. I just was too stupid to care if anybody thought those two things didn't fit together. I just don't care. You did Playboy and I don't
Mm.
care. Sorry, gonna have to be mad. So,
Huh.
um,
That's
and then I was
interesting. So,
flying for a hobby also. My grandpa
mm-hmm.
was an aviator, my mom's dad, so it's probably in the blood.
Mm-hmm.
And after we took this company public, again, dated a couple rich guys, socked away some money. I'm not rich, but enough money to not have to be panicked anymore. You get
Right.
older, right? I decided to fly for a living. And that pivot was because I wanted to fly bigger, faster stuff. And that is a ludicrously expensive thing to do as a hobby. I'm not rich enough. You have to do it
Mm.
for a living unless you have like an extra 2 or 3 million to waste on flying, which I don't, right?
Wow.
So that's why I did it professionally, because I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
fly more complicated equipment and I
Mm-hmm.
needed someone else to foot the bill.
Right.
So there've been many
So,
pivots.
what
I'm
inspired
pretty used to
the
pivoting.
career pivots? What inspired you, to go from modeling to science? I understand the science and the oil connection, but then to flying, becoming a pilot.
Well, yeah. So, like I said, my grandpa was a pilot, so it's probably in
Okay.
the blood. I was taking lessons for a hobby because the weather in the West is very dry and clear a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
time. So it's a thing you can do. Um, in oil, I saw a lot of people out in West Texas with little planes. It's a
Okay.
common way they get around there because the distances are so huge in
Yeah.
Texas. So I had seen it. It looked fun. I've spent a lot of my life doing things they say women shouldn't do. Um, and I think I have a little bit of that in me where if you say don't do it, I'm going to do it.
Right.
Uh, and I didn't get married or have kids. Next
Mm-hmm.
lifetime, I'd love to, but because I didn't do those things, which are more traditional, I had a lot of extra time.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
So,
And
uh,
was that an intentional decision? I'm choosing not to have a family. I'm not going to get married and have children.
no,
Or did it just,
there was one I would have, and it didn't work out.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he's a good
I
dude.
Yeah, I asked that because, I'm hearing more and more women breaking away from that mentality that at some point, I have to settle down. I have to, look for a partner and start a family. That's what my parents did, grandparents did, and that's what's expected of me. And I'm
Yeah.
meeting more and more women who are like, no, I'm choosing not to, on purpose.
Well, I
So,
mean, you don't have to. I mean, so we have to. Somebody has to make people, right? We
right,
need them, but
right,
and most people, the population clock worldwide is still ticking up. We're still making plenty of people. We're
right.
gonna have we're gonna hit 9 billion soon.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about people. And again, I think sometimes you choose, and sometimes life happens to you,
Hmm.
and both of those things have to be okay. I
Right.
could probably still have kids if I did it like today. um, but I would be doing it alone. I could. I froze some eggs a long time ago, thinking maybe I'd do it later.
Hmm.
I suppose I could, but I think of it as you do have to be okay with. You can't have everything in life, and I'm. It's wonderful that people want to, but if it
Hmm.
doesn't happen for you, I'm going to survive with the set of life I've been given. Right, I have to,
Exactly. Yeah. And for those
and
who
it's not all bad.
choose the path not to, right. It's just about, taking the pressure off. We get a lot of
Yes.
pressure from society as women. We get a lot of pressure from our family, friends, everything, everywhere. There's pressure on
Yeah.
us to, have a family or
Yes.
whatever the case may be. Look a certain way. There's just pressure.
I mean,
So,
people love what I was talking about earlier. People love to box people in. It makes them easier to understand
hmm,
if there's and then look, kids make most people very happy. I all my friends who have kids are glad they did. Very few things
right.
have a return on investment in happiness of 100%. So I'm sure had I
Hmm.
had them, I would have been glad I did, like
Right.
almost everybody. Uh, and it's a wonderful thing to do, and most people do it. But I do think we have to allow for the minority of people who didn't, and not call
Hmm.
us sort of evil witches, because you don't know. Some people couldn't have kids. Some people tried and miscarried. Some people,
Right.
whatever. Like, yeah, it's a big world. There's and most people are still doing it, which is fine. The stuff you talk about the pressure. Well, there's a biological problem, right? We can't have kids at 75,
Hmm.
unfortunately. Maybe smart people are working on that, but I mean, I would love it if you could grow them in the closet like people grow wheat,
No,
and
right.
women's bodies didn't have to take such a hit. It'd be great, right? Maybe they'll get there after my lifetime. That'd be awesome. But there is sort of a biology problem, uh, and then yeah, I see a lot of men now pressuring women to have kids because they want a more traditional existence. I mean, I
Hmm.
don't know. I think people should just do what they want,
Yeah,
as long as you're not
that's the
hurting
whole
anybody.
point of everything. Do what you want, even if it takes you 30, 40 years, because it's never too late. Do what you want. And if you try something, it doesn't work
Yeah,
out, it's okay. You can pivot. You can pivot
sure.
10 times if you want. That's
Neighbor
the
of mine
point.
did frozen eggs, and they just did IVF, and she hired a surrogate, and they are both 59, and baby's fine.
Wow.
Everybody's fine. They're going to be old parents. They're super healthy Los Angeles people, so they're
Hmm.
59, but they seem 39,
Hmm.
and they have an exit strategy because they won't be around when their kid is probably 60. They'll be gone,
Hmm.
but they have money, so I mean, all things are possible if they're executed correctly, right?
Exactly. That's wonderful. I like to hear that. So, in terms of today, what are you up to? And I want to hear more about your magazine features. Was that something that happened that you did when you were in your 20s? Had you done anything like that after 30, after 40?
Yeah. The last Playboy cover I did was just 2 years ago. Yeah.
Really?
I was 45.
Wow.
And I still
Okay.
get offers to do it now. It's more fashion and fitness now in my 40s than it is
Okay.
the nubile, like half naked. And yeah, they Photoshop it a lot. The photos I've seen of me, I'm like, I didn't really look like that.
I
No, I mean, and also it was,
wish they would leave them natural.
a month of eating perfectly and a lot of self
Hmm.
tanner and then Photoshop and 3 hours of hair and makeup. I mean, no human looks like that. But this is what sells on the covers and inside the spreads. And it's art and it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
And I've heard all the arguments about what damage it does to self esteem of people, but I think it behooves the viewers to realize this is a fantasy, that Marvel isn't real either.
Hmm.
Um, and that no model walks down the street looking that way. The runway, the editorial, they're pretty close. That's the
Yeah.
job, to look like that. But glamour, you don't look like that every day. You
Right.
couldn't.
It's supposed to be light and fun and it's pretty. And like you said, it's
Yeah,
a fantasy. I love it. But it's good to know
yeah.
there's still hope, for women in their 40s who thought about doing something light in their 20s, but they couldn't or didn't try. I like to know that. There's hope
They're
for
putting
me.
like they're putting cougary old women all over the sexy magazines now because it's kind of a vibe. Like weird.
I've seen them in Sports Illustrated. I've seen a lot of features. It's like they've opened up a whole new world. Because when I was coming up, I didn't see anybody over the age of 40 or 50. I believe there were a couple women recently over the age of 50, and I thought that was fabulous.
J Lo's almost 60.
So, right.
I mean, now she's exceptional, and I'm sure it costs $1 million a year to look that good, or more. But yeah, I think was it that movie, that old movie, The Graduate, with Dustin Hoffman? It was Mrs. Robinson, the cougar who was trying to seduce him. Anne Bancroft, this actress of the time in the 60s, she was 36, playing like the old, haggard, like cougar type of woman. She was
Oh,
36.
really?
That's a baby now.
Mm-hmm.
And in my view, what choice do we have? What are you going to tell people to roll over and die for half their lives?
Mm-hmm.
That's nonsense.
Yeah.
We have a graying
But
population. The average, the median age is moving up. I think it's 38 or 39 now. It's moving up in all of the developed world, not just America.
mm-hmm.
You're going to tell people for half their lives they're not vibrant and vital, and it takes some work. You have to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Or from what I've seen in like the mid to late 50s, things can start getting pretty rough.
Yeah.
But people who take care of themselves, which you see a lot in like LA and Miami, dude, I saw guys in LA that were late 60s and they turned every head in a restaurant. I mean,
Yeah.
hot
Right.
and healthy,
Mm-hmm.
surfing 4 hours in the morning like a teenager.
I've seen that too. It's amazing.
And women too. I mean, aging, it's a little bit of healthy denial. When you want to do something, we'll talk more, but when you want to pivot, there's a degree to which you have to be a little bit delulu without being totally you have to be honest about your skills and your abilities and go in the right direction for training and retraining. All
Right.
that's true. But
Mhm.
there is a part of you that has to be like, yeah, I can do this. Because
Exactly.
if you don't believe that something that isn't yet real can be, then for sure it never will be, right?
Right. You have to have the guts. You have to get rid of imposter syndrome. And
Yes.
from what I know to be true is you have to understand that everything is already within you. And once you start taking the steps, doors will open. That's my life motto. Take the
Yes.
steps, doors will open.
And you can be the
So,
first. Like sure, if you keep trying year after year and like no one's booking you, no one's calling, and you're going broke and homeless, okay, maybe a different role within the beauty or entertainment industry. You
hmm
do have to be realistic.
right,
However, persistence, sometimes you get a lot of no's before you get a yes. And what if you had given up? Ask any actor.
right.
They all get rejected all the time.
Yeah,
They just gave, I mean, the analogy is how many times did you as a baby try to start walking before you just gave up?
right.
You just said, fuck this, I'm done. You didn't. You
You
kept
did
falling,
right.
you kept stumbling because there was no give up. You got to
hmm
walk, right?
Right.
So you can be the first, right? And yeah, I get DMs or comments on Instagram every day that's like, hang it up, grandma. Yeah, I do not care.
No way.
Yeah, I don't care. Well, there's another 1,000 that are like, you're lovely. So the majority of the world is very nice. And then there's one idiot that you
It's
kind
good
of
to know.
remember because it's funny.
I
First of
just
all,
don't understand that mentality.
I mean, first of all, it's somebody who's probably far uglier than me, so who cares? Or not, who knows?
Right.
I literally do not care. But I think that if they're mad at the audacity of a person who dares, that's got to come from they wish they could dare.
hmm
Because otherwise you wouldn't care, right? You literally
Right.
would just keep scrolling past the 47-year-old sexy chick that you don't like.
hmm
But if it really triggers you and you care, there's something there. You wish you could do something. And my answer to that person would be, instead of wasting your life being mean to me, because I don't care if you live or die,
hmm
would be, you go dare for whatever pivot it is that you have in the quiet of your
Right.
mind when you're dreaming. Because we all have something.
I know, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's what I would hope that, listeners would get out of. If there's some people listening who have that sort of closed-minded, judgmental mentality that they would listen like, you know what? I have been thinking about this. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to wear this. Even when it comes to clothing, it's crazy. Hair, makeup,
It's a better
everything.
use of their energy because my mother used to say, and she didn't make up this saying, but she'll say, "You'll stop worrying about what people think of you when you realize they don't.
Mm,
They're thinking about themselves, right?"
right.
Which is fine. And yeah, like these rules. I've got a girlfriend in her mid 50s who she wears mini skirts, and she knows she has a couple knee folds. She's older,
Hmm.
but she's very cute. And like, if
And
you're
she's
mad at that,
comfortable.
it literally does not hurt you.
Yeah.
Like, why are you mad?
Yeah.
It's somebody once told me the reason people are afraid of aging and hate it is because we're afraid of death.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, sure, it's the great unknown. That's true,
Never thought
but
about it like that.
well, but what? So because we live with the sword of Damocles hanging over us, you're just going to be mad the whole time?
Right.
Because I don't think that's very smart. Life is short. You may as well do fun things while you are here.
Yeah.
And what choice do you have, right?
Hmm.
I think a pivot is more interesting. It makes this world more diverse. You throw everything at the wall. Some of it sticks. Most of it doesn't. Like I told you, I was a pretty bad scientist, and I didn't like killing mice all day. So I pivoted. But
Yeah, you gave
I
yourself the
understand.
freedom to pivot in a completely different direction. And
Yeah,
that's what I think. I love that. I love your boldness. I love your risk taking. Um, all of it, and all of
we
that
sh-
packaged together with modeling. Like, who does that? It's
I
amazing.
just they just stuck me on stuff. I had a very conventionally attractive body, long arms and long limbs, and it's genetic. My dad's side of the family, his two twin
Hmm.
sisters were professional ballet dancers and then owned studios, and they're
Nice.
old ladies and they still have beautiful bodies. Um, and so by whatever conventions there were, I had the kind of shape that sold.
Hmm.
It kind of happened to me. Uh,
Yeah.
and then I didn't really find it. That's part of the current pivot is modeling gets a little boring because the job is literally to stand there and do nothing. Literally to
Okay.
do nothing. I mean,
Hmm.
you know your angles, you know your light, but it ain't exactly rocket science. So
Yeah.
what happens after a while is that you sort of crave fulfillment in other things. Um, so I still will if they still call, I still do it, but yeah, you kind of want to taste other parts of beauty and entertainment. I'm enjoying broadcasting. I'm a chatty
Okay.
bitch,
So I
right?
was going to ask about that. What are you up to these days? What does that
I am.
broadcasting
I'm
look
doing
like?
some broadcasting. I still
Yeah.
fly. I still travel.
Ah.
I go to California once a month. I go to Florida a lot, so I still get around.
Hmm.
I date a little. I'm not anything serious. I hang out with my dog. I hang out with my friends and neighbors.
Yeah.
Stay fit. I do exercise quite a bit. I like it. I
Yeah.
think it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying New York. I should have moved here 25 years ago. It's
Wow. Yeah, I live in
I won't
LA
stay
too.
forever, but it's breathlessly exciting here.
Yeah,
It's
it is. I
oh
agree. I love it too.
it's every bit as fun as I knew it would be, and
Hmm.
I wish I had done it a long time ago. But at least I get to check this box, and for that I'm so grateful because it's expensive, but
Right.
but
And
it's
you moved to New York 20 years ago, roughly?
no, I
Or was
wanted
it?
to. Sorry,
You
I
wanted to.
wasn't clear. I wanted to, and I was back and forth a lot, so I knew New
Okay.
York well. I came at least once a month for years,
Ah,
but
okay.
full time, my home base here has only been a year and a half,
Oh, so you're a newbie.
pretty much. Yeah. I learned the subway. I learned don't get into an empty subway card. There's always a reason, and it's not good.
Okay.
I learned that, and I like it so much. I spent 24 years in Los Angeles traffic, so I am very
Hmm.
much enjoying almost never driving.
Oh, I
I
bet.
I don't know oh, car traffic.
Yeah.
So, but I think
I can.
your podcast about pivots, I think, is so important because I think it's so fun to taste different things in life. I think a well lived life
Hmm.
is lived in different places, or at least
Hmm.
to visit. And
Yeah.
so,
And what I've come to know is a lot of women who reach sort of that midlife phase in life, around mid 30s, 40s, and on up, they have experienced a change, whether they're, recently divorced or unpartnered, or single and just thinking, what's next for me, or finish raising a family. So those are the women I want to sort of inspire with this podcast. I want them to know that,
Right.
hey, if you're finding yourself in a different phase of life and you're like, what the hell am I going to do now? Go back
Yeah.
and think to what it was you've always wanted to do, or just dive into something new. So it's stories like yours and all of the other women I'm speaking with, you know, I hope that your stories serve as an inspiration for other women and younger women as well, because I'm hearing from a lot of younger women, they're feeling stuck, under so much pressure, societal pressure. And it's like, oh, I have to, finish this degree and then move along in this process. I have to find, like we talked about earlier, finding a partner, starting a family. Yeah, but what is it that you really want to do?
Mhm.
If you didn't have all of this pressure, what are some things you really want to do? And some people are like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I love to paint all day. Or, I love to bake cupcakes or move to another country and sell
Mhm.
coconut water on the beach. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
Anything.
we just ignore sometimes that inner voice, or it goes unheard for many, many years. And so even if it does go unheard for many, many years, I want people to know that if you're 55, you can still do it.
Well, I
you
think,
know?
yeah, you talk about divorce. Every single married woman I know who got divorced was first unhappy and is now very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
it's like, I hate to say that, but they are, and their exes often got remarried right away because they couldn't be alone. I don't mean
I
every guy. Please don't at me, internet. I don't want to hear it. Um,
but it's
but
true.
but the women are like, some are re-involving with men, and some are like, I am very happy to be free with my lady friends, and it's cool.
Yeah.
I think we should talk more about menopause. I'm not quite there yet, but it's coming within what, probably 5 to 7 years. I don't know, give or
Mm-hmm.
depends when. But
Right.
menopause, which oddly some women are afraid of, it's magic. You are back to the 12-year-old girl who thought she could do anything the boys could do and
Wow.
wasn't. Well, that's what it is. It's a bookend. It's a return to who she
Yeah.
was. It's what
Yeah.
you said. Who did you dream of when you were a little girl? Like,
Mm-hmm.
before the world told you what you had to be. And
Right.
then before estrogen put you under this 45-year fog of docile compliance because the nature wanted you to make
Oh my
babies,
God. So
which is useful
profound.
and fine.
Yeah.
We all need that, but enjoy your freedom. Enjoy you have now decades to be basically free again. It's
Mm-hmm.
not scary. All my girlfriends who are like 55 and 60 who don't get their periods anymore, they love it. And like, they
Wow.
still
I
date,
should
they
do an
still have.
episode on menopause and what to
One of my friends,
expect,
she
and
still
because no one
dates.
talks about it.
She loves not having a period because she can have sex anytime she wanted. And she does a little HRT, so she's super frisky. She's like, I mean, she loves it.
What's
So
HRT?
hormone replacement therapy, sorry.
Ah, okay.
Because sometimes as estrogen goes off, some women don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Others are fine. My mother like didn't even notice menopause. Her periods just stopped. She didn't feel any different.
Mm-hmm.
But some women, they feel bad. And so doctors can do supplementation. Now, there's amazing things happening in medicine. Every body is different.
Right.
But if your symptoms are, you're finding yourself ragey and unstable or depressed,
Mm-hmm.
or intercourse is painful, there's a lot that can be done. Like, talk to your doctor. Exercise mitigates it. Weight training affects testosterone. And yes, women have that too.
Mm-hmm.
And testosterone is better for your sex drive. So some women are doing like topical or pellet testosterone therapy, which is making them
Oh, okay.
more confident. You don't want to do so much that you get like rage and back acne, but uh, there's HGH things. Some people, anyway, there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Doctors. I'm not a doctor. Everybody's different, but
Yeah.
menopause can be wonderful if you meet it head on. Talk to your endocrinologist. Get
Mm-hmm.
honest. And it's just puberty on the other end. That's what it is,
Wow.
right?
I'd love to have menopause as a topic. I'm gonna
Should get
consider
some
that.
doctors on the show because
Yeah.
whatever I said was probably wrong. But
But I am hearing from a lot of younger or premenopausal women that no one prepares you for it. There's so much that I don't even know. So yes, I think it's an
And
excellent topic that needs to be discussed more.
some doctors have dumb, antiquated ideas. They'll call you
Oh,
hysterical. I mean, be careful of what kind of doctor you have.
really? Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
it's a whole vibe. Like, yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother, yeah, medicine and women, that's a whole nother topic. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think, um, yeah, I mean, you just have to get honest. And this is what we're
Right.
doing, right? Fiat Lux, shine a light on things, and then they're not as scary.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
So
uh,
I'll
and
definitely
it
do
is a
that
good
and
time to
check it out.
pivot. I'm sure I had a midlife crisis, and that was the pivot to New York. I'm sure that's
Yeah,
part of what it was.
but do you see it as a crisis though? Or
You're right. This is
just
the
a
wrong term.
point, right, a point in your life where you recognize that I need to make a change.
I always wanted
Yeah.
to. I knew, when you're like late at night or early in the morning and it's quiet and you're only with your own, call it God or your soul or the voice in your head, whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it, you know what you want. We all do.
Yes.
And because of pressure and people who said, well, you can't do New York and it's too, like, I shouldn't have listened. And that's fine. I finally lived for Amy, and
Hmm.
better late than never. But
Right.
yeah, you know what's right for you. And it's different for everybody. And that's
It is
beautiful,
different. And I feel like the
right?
older you get, the wiser you get, and your voice gets a little louder. And you
Yeah.
have to actually train yourself to listen to your inner voice, blocking out all of the noise. And that's what happened with me, at least in my experience. I realized that, you know what, my voice doesn't really steer me wrong. I can listen to her. There was a point where I'd hear her and be like, no, I'm not going to listen. I'm going to go this way, But the older I get, I'm like, no, I'm listening to my voice. She's right. She's not
Why do
steering me
you
wrong.
think you didn't trust yourself? I can relate. There
Well,
were times I didn't.
I think I was just young and not really paying attention and not sure. Maybe that's probably the major thing. It's just
Yeah.
unsure, not as confident um, in my decision making and listening to my inner voice. So,
Yeah. As you meet
yeah.
more challenges and you do more tough stuff and you survive it, if you survive it, you
Hmm.
kind of are like, yeah, I did that hard thing. I can navigate this annoying hard thing too. And
Hmm.
you almost, it's like being in shape physically. You're like, yeah, that run's gonna exhaust me, but I'm not gonna die. I did it before. I can do it again. You
Right.
become in shape wisdom wise.
Yeah.
And I do think
Or, I
society
mean,
tells young women that they're stupid and that they should listen to other people. I do think it tells us when we're young that we don't know anything.
hmm,
It might be a little true, you know less, but
yeah.
it really keeps young women in the obedient, sweet, box, which is, I don't know
Yeah.
what
A
people are
lot of
afraid of.
subliminal messages that we pick up when we're younger that we have to kind of unlearn.
Well, and if you
Um,
disobey, they burn you at the stake, right? I mean, society often doesn't like disobedient women.
yeah, I know. Here, we're fighting, these laws and these societal things. We're fighting those back and taking back our power as women.
Well, and it's so odd to me because what I've seen is that secretly, even like men in power, they quite like vibrant women doing cool stuff and not being docile and boring.
Right.
They're fascinated by those women.
Yeah. I mean, even
But
for them, it's got to be tiring being the one in control all the time. So,
100%. I mean, yeah, I
oh my
think
gosh.
all these boxes people want to put people in are just silly. It's just silly and stupid. Like, oh, a diverse world of choice is not terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually more fun. Like, one of the things I love about Manhattan is I walk by thousands of people every day, and many of them I'm like, nope. But that's great. You know what? It's probably mutual and
Right.
cool. Its difference is lovely as long as you're not harming people. And I don't know what's scary about an empowered older woman who's doing what she wants. Like, but I don't know
I
what the
don't
fear is.
know.
Like, don't tell the young women like that they can do what they want. Like,
You said something that I really, really liked and resonated with. It says, tighter skin and thicker hair is not that great, and everything else is greater when we age. And I love that because I agree. And more women need to know that too. So,
100%. Yeah. I
all
mean,
right.
yeah.
Now I'd like to move into what I like to call the strawberry round, where I ask you 5 questions or like fun fact questions, and you keep your answers short and sweet.
Okay.
All right. So, first one, name a book that has inspired you tremendously.
Oh, Brian Greene's Elegant Universe.
Okay.
Uh, I'll keep it short, but it's string theory. It's a different way of looking at reality. And as we know, I'm vive la différence. I like things different. And
Mm-hmm.
I am no physicist. I don't understand it totally, but I do like to dip my toe in the math and science world still. It's in me. And I think it humbles me to think about the vastness of the universe.
Yeah.
It liberates me to think I'm not that important and none of my mistakes will matter that much. Um, and then I wish I was better at physics and science. So when I read these layperson books, he writes for a
Mm-hmm.
non-scientist. I
Okay.
can pretend for a few days that I understand this stuff that I don't. So
Right.
those are science books are escapism for me. And Brian Greene's Elegant Universe is one of the best.
Good. Thank you for that. What's a software, tool, or app you can't live without for personal or professional use?
Oh, well, my whole phone. Photo sharing stuff for modeling. I mean, obviously, I use Instagram and
Hmm.
X a lot, Twitter, whatever. I hate the arguing, so trying to get less interested in it because I'm sick of the arguing. But
Yeah.
all the social media ones, with trying to curate them so they're less miserable, and then various photo apps that crop and edit a little
Hmm.
bit for like things that when people don't send me clips like of your show and I
Right.
want to make a little thing for socials, I use a lot of those. That would be bad if
Cool.
I didn't have those.
That's cool. Name someone you'd love to have lunch with and why.
Kamala Harris.
Ah, okay.
I
And
don't like to
lastly,
be political, but yeah, I would like to.
no, whoever, it's up to you. I don't buy into that
I
mess
think
either.
she amazes me.
Yeah. And lastly, what's your top self-care ritual if you have
Day
one?
spas. Oh my God, any day spa. A fancy one, a totally non-fancy one out in Flushing at the end of the 7 train. I don't care. I don't care. I like because you can't get your phone. It's in the locker. That's
Hmm.
like 80% of it. There's no phones.
Right. No
And
phones.
then this soaking, steaming, scrubbing, all that. I like a day spa.
Falling asleep. Yeah.
Oh, like the Zen thing when you're in a massage and like you don't know what planet you're on. Oh,
Yeah.
heaven.
And you wake up like, oh, where am I? Yeah, I love that.
I try not to fall asleep because I don't want to miss it. Have you
Hmm.
been to a head spa? It sounds dirty. It's not.
No, no, I
Look
haven't.
up
Maybe
head
I'll
spa.
focus
It
on the
sounds like
project.
porn. I swear it's not. Um,
It doesn't.
like I know it's a terrible name. They got to think of something better. There's a couple in Manhattan, but they're like 350, $400. The ones in Flushing are like $80 for 2 hours. And it's all about like, there's a thing that comes and washes. It's like a halo and you
Oh,
lay down and all they do is like deal with your scalp and hair and head and is
okay.
the most relaxing.
You know what? I have seen that as a part of other treatments, and I thought, I don't know, I don't want anybody else washing my hair, but I
No?
like the massage
Okay.
part.
You know what? Not everybody's into the head massage.
I love a head massage, but okay, going for a treatment is different. If they're washing it, that means they're not going to style it, so I have to deal with it afterwards. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
Oh no, same.
Maybe
I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
go out looking insane.
I'm gonna,
Oh yeah.
I'm still have to gonna put in a lot of work.
Oh,
But
you
I
and me
like
both.
that. I like that. Maybe I'll try it. Just
Do you
like,
go ever the foot massage places? Like they're usually Asian in the Lower East Side and they work on your feet, which is nice when you walk around New York a lot.
You know what? I've never given those a try because I'm like, oh, I
You
don't
don't want
need
to?
someone to just work on my feet. I want like full body. So I never went to a
Fair.
place where they just focus on one area.
My mom
But it's a
hates
great
them.
idea because what is the treatment that you can get on your feet with the pressing? Can't think of the
Well,
name of it.
sometimes they beat your feet up. It hurts. I took my mom
I
and she
know.
absolutely hated it. She's like, "Get me out of here. This hurts." Like
Yeah,
she
everybody
was
can't handle
not.
that. I think I have tender feet too, so I'd have to be like, yeah, I got to be a little gentle with me.
There's a
um,
wonderful spa on Governor's Island called QC, and you can
okay.
soak and steam, and you look at the whole city, and you're on this island which is
Ooh.
quiet, and it's a 3-minute ferry ride from Lower Manhattan.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I haven't been to New York in so long. I need to come up
Yeah,
there and
come
like
visit
spend a
us.
few days and hang out. Yeah, for sure.
That's the best way to do it. Visit.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I miss it.
Yeah.
So Amy, do you have any final words for our listeners to take as encouragement or advice to pivot and live life intentionally?
Yeah. I mean, just dare.
In
Like,
addition to
just
all of
dare.
the other gems you've already provided.
I don't know about that. I'm just one more person
Hmm.
navigating life, and what I've lived and the mistakes I've made are not for you, friends. But I would say who you want to be, just be.
Hmm.
Like, tell the truth, mostly to yourself. And a lot of misery is caused by not living who you really are. We're only here for a few decades. I know old people tell you guys that life is short. It's because it's true. And
Mm.
a lot of people at the end of their lives regret living for the benefit or expectations of others, and hiding behind lies and performing who they are without so don't harm others, but live free, be who you are. This life is short, and you will add your special little grain of sand to the beach that is humanity, and it needs it. Like, don't take from humanity what you have to offer.
Exactly. Thank you so much for that, Amy. It has been a joy speaking to you today. Gosh, I learned so much.
I
And
mean,
I mean, yeah, and I have to say your bio really resonated with me because I did some childhood um, modelings in my
got a great
family,
base.
something that I've always loved, and now I'm thinking about getting into it a little bit again. So
Do
thank you
it.
for sharing that. Thank you. And
You
also
like
science. I didn't.
skincare goals. You're glowing.
Thank
Whatever you're
you.
doing skincare, like,
I'm just hoping. I'm like, is it too hot in here? I hope I'm not sweating, because my face gets shiny. But
yeah,
thank you for
best when
that.
you record, you don't want loud air conditioning on, right? So it gets
Right.
hot. No. I mean, yeah, if you want to, there is a massive market for 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s,
Hmm.
80s, and beyond.
It's
Like,
so inspiring. Yeah.
and it's fun to be on set creating beautiful images with creative people. Like,
Hmm.
right? It's fun. So,
Well,
and
thank you so much
pivoting is
again.
keeps life from getting boring, right?
Yeah.
Keep
It
pivoting,
is should
everybody.
be a natural part of exactly. Keep pivoting, everybody. It's natural. Thank you, Amy. Nice talking to you. So nice to meet you.
It was so fun, Bianca. Like, let's
Yes.
do it again. Come visit New York. Let's have
I
dinner.
will. I will. I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of the Milfs Who Pivot podcast. Please take a minute to leave a review and don't forget to follow the show, download the episodes, and share with the other Milfs in your life. Listen in on any of the major platforms, including Apple and Spotify, or watch our videos on YouTube. You can join the community on Facebook and Instagram at Milfs Who Pivot Podcast.